Hey, we're out here on September 3rd, Wednesday morning in Rous Vineyard, one of Lodi's classic old vineyards, planted 1909?
1909.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's Craig Rous, the owner and farmer, and we have him with Tim Holdener of Macchia. Hey, Craig, tell us about this year in Rous.
Well, this year we have much less growth than we've seen in last year or years past. The shoots are not nearly as long, very short crop. The fruit is sitting out here looking real nice, but there's not an awful lot of it. The clusters are smaller. The berries are smaller this year too. So as you can see in here, there's just a few clusters here and there, and there's not much else. I think that we're going to see really good colors in here because of the smaller berries. I'll let Tim talk about the flavors, but yeah, I think that this is should be a really good year as far as color and flavors and quality. Not so good on my end because the yields aren't going to be as good, but that's okay. We make good wine.
Great. So what do you think, Tim?
Well, I'm real excited. Like Craig said, we do have smaller crops than we've had definitely in the last 2 years. We are getting very even ripening, and you can see that they are ripening up very nicely here. We do have a smaller amount of Zin. We do have smaller the growth. So we're getting some more sunlight on the grape. So we're being able to pick a little bit earlier than we have in the years past, and the fruit is reaching more mature levels with less sugar this year. I'm finding we're picking things at what would be considered normal numbers instead of some of the the high numbers that we get here with sugars because everything's so warm. But this year has been an excellent year so far for Zin, knock on wood.
Well, what kind of style of Zinfandel do these type of years produce?
This year we can produce the style that I love producing from this vineyard. Craig mentioned the color. We never really had problems with the color in this vineyard. It's always the beautiful violet hues in here. But I think this year the flavors are going to be intense, but it's going to be a more elegant style wine. It's not going to be the big high alcohol monsters that you kind of associate with the Lodi appellation. It's going to be a little bit more refined style.
Great. Hey, so Craig, we're out here on the east side where the soils are really, really sandy, and yet we have these larger sized type of vines. How much of it do you think is it the rootstock here?
Well, this is, I don't know if I've seen a vineyard in the Lodi area that is on St. George, like this one is, any sooner than this. I don't know that this is the first one, but it's certainly one of the earliest ones. St. George rootstock, the roots go straight down. And so they're able to handle really sandy soils with poor water conditions and still grow quite large. You can see the trunks on these are very large. And gnarly, and they go all over the place. So the vines, because of that ability of the rootstock to find nutrients and to find water, particularly in a year like this one, really allows the vines to get large and to spread out. And I think that's what winemakers really like about older vines is, of course, they spread out and they allow the fruit to just hang there kind of all by itself instead of all clustered together with no air movement and no light. So, yeah, that's what I think St. George and certainly old vines allow you to do.
So what are your thoughts, Tim, on that?
I think he hit it dead on. The older vines tend to set a specific amount of clusters on here. They know how much they can ripen. They've been around here for years, close to 100 years here. And they are more mature, not just in age, they are more mature in the way they physiologically grow or ripen fruit because they know how much they can do. They've done it for so many years that they just got it down.
Great. All right. Sounds like it's going to be a good year.
We sure hope so.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay, this is Mike McCay, who's also picking Rous Vineyard Zinfandel this morning. Mike, tell me about what you look for in these type of old vine Zins.
Here we're sitting on September 3rd, 2014. This beautiful, spectacular vineyard behind me. It was planted in 1909, farmed by Craig Rous. Just not quite dry farm, about 3 times a year he waters. I love the atypical, untypical elongated clusters, no jacks, very evenly balanced, beautiful berry size, very concentrated flavors. One of the special vineyards on the east side of Lodi.
Great. And what kind of style of Zim does it make that you like so much?
Well, we're going to find out. I've been able to taste other producers' Zinfandel from this vineyard for the last few years, but this will be our first vintage for this particular vineyard. I am going to maybe look at a little bit of whole cluster fermentation. Not a lot, because typically in Zinfandel, you've got jacks, you've got more of some green stems you'll see. Sometimes in the cluster where you'll see that not quite hard wood, if you will, on the stems. So you don't get over crazy in Zinfandel with whole cluster. But we definitely want to put some of that in for some more aromatics, phenolics. I look for this vineyard to be very bright, red fruit, but with nice tannin structure through the body of the wine.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks, Randy.